In the year 2022, with many sports leagues having been established 50, 100, or even 150 years ago, it's very rare that we have the opportunity to witness the birth of a sports league and meet someone who played a key role in that league's founding. Here is Heidi Horton, WNBA player who played in the first and second ever seasons of the WNBA.
So there weren't any professional leagues at that time when I was at the University of Virginia, and there wasn't anything to look forward to, except for the leagues that were in Europe, Western Europe particularly, not Eastern Europe like it is now. And so we were fortunate to have an agent that contacted us to tell us that he could represent us to find us teams in Europe. But until probably 1992, when I was a junior, it wasn't even on my radar.
As Heidi mentioned, the very concept of a professional women's basketball league in the United States seemed like a far-out concept to both athletes and audiences. This left many of the top female basketball talents in the world with only one choice if they wanted to continue playing in their professional careers: Europe. Many United States female basketball players simply moved to Europe and continued playing out their professional careers there.
Found out about the pro leagues starting up from my agent in New York, Bruce Levy, and he did mention there would be a private enterprise league called the ABL, American Basketball League, formed in 1996, which was a precursor to the WNBA, which was formed to launch in 1997. So there was a risk doing it and risking your security overseas. However, the chance to play in front of your own home fans was really enticing.
Leaving the European leagues for the WNBA in America provided a very interesting prospect for many American players playing in Europe. On one hand, they could shine in their home country, play in front of their own friends and family. On the other hand, they could stay in Europe for a very secure, stable, well-paying job that provided an overall really good thing. Heidi took the chance in America.
So ironically, I was not drafted to the LA Sparks. I was overseas and therefore was not present to be at the combine where the men's team's managers, general managers, were trying to get players to stock their teams for the WNBA season, which was to start in June. I wasn't picked because I was overseas, and ironically we had won the championship for that team in Greece. So I had to wait till I came back, and I got on the team as a replacement player simply because I joined their practices.
As great of an opportunity as the WNBA was, it wasn't perfect. Many flaws and problems would plague the WNBA simply from its conception. This included simply acquiring players and forming teams. Unfortunately, these problems would continue to follow fellow WNBA players and even Heidi herself into the league.
Indeed, there were a few issues for sure in a startup league, and you could guess there would be some, but one of the most noticeable ones as a player to me was the coaches were not relational to the players as I felt they were in a professional setting in Europe. They were still trying to navigate how to be in control of the team, but not try to be a college coach, if you will.
Despite these flaws, there were many bright spots that Heidi and other WNBA players found throughout their first season.
I had a few memorable instances in the league the first year. My most favorable or most fond memory is when I was playing at the Madison Square Gardens in New York, because that's a famous place, and I think I've been to a concert there before or seen it, and the history in that place was so amazing. And down under where our locker room was, it was the pictures of all the performers of every year, years and years and years. And here I was getting to play on that floor, and right next to there watching me was Gregory Hines and Spike Lee and all these guys.
Ultimately, I think it's best to leave it to Heidi to summarize the WNBA's first season as a whole.
My first season in the WNBA absolutely was a very positive experience, despite those little, hitches of the nuances of the league.